Gallimimus is being worked on, Diabloceratops' concept art was finally revealed, and a whole bunch more for the human structures was also shown in the main dev blog for the Isle. If you want to check out my first part of this video, where I talked about the Update 5 relevant stuff, check out the video that's on the screen now, but timestamps for everything are on the screen now, and if you are new, feel free to subscribe. But other than that, let's get into this, the Isle News video. Gallimimus was one of the things that I was not expecting to hear about in this dev blog. In fact, it was one of the main things that stood out to me, despite there not being any pictures of Gallimimus in it. However, this comes from Brian, who is the animator, and he said quite a lot of things. So before I get into Gallimimus, I want to talk about one of the things that he said, and that is that he said over the month he's made over 200 animations that are needed for Prehistoric, which is crazy. He said in terms of workload, this is basically like creating Dinosaurus, but another version of it. This is no surprise. Ideally, Prehistoric is probably the next playable to come to the Isle Evrima in the coming weeks or coming months, depending on how you look at how fast this is going on. However, it's definitely something that will be progressing quite fast, and something that Dondi even said was coming next. He goes on to talk about Gallimimus, however, which was the main surpriser to me, and this is what Brian said. He said Gallimimus is being prepared for its eventual return, and then goes on to say this: but don't worry, you're not likely to be spam kicked to death ever again, unless you decide to try an AFK grow and Galli finds you hiding in a bush. It's now got a full suit of directional attack animations like the other Evirma animals, and will have some other quirks to make it far less likely to be seen as a troll dinosaur like it was in Legacy. Brian also says that he's been working on juvenile Hypsilophodon animations and well work overall for the juvie. However, he did say there are some issues with the eyebrows and tail feathers, as well as a lot of bugs with the skeleton and the rig of baby Hypsilophodon, which have admittedly delayed it a little bit. But that's everything to do with Brian's side of things, who is the animator, and it's nice to note because Gallimimus could be coming after Bepe, or maybe after Cerato, but it does mean that Gallimimus is something that's being worked on right now. And here we have it, Diabloceratops' concept art, which is definitely something that I was excited to see. There's a lot to showcase here as well. Firstly, let's just dive right into it. I'm in the webcam mode because it's easier to showcase and talk about at the same time. You can see quite a lot here, which is really good. Firstly, you've got this defensive, reinforcement that you've got here where the adults form a circle around the babies. And we also have a glimpse here of Albertosaurus, which is right here. And obviously there's one over here in the top part as well, which is really cool to note. Then if we progress further, you can see what looks like a Utahraptor. Well, it might not even be a Utah. That might be a Herrerasaurus just because it's got the little weird spines on it. But either way, Diabloceratops can be pounced on. However, Diabloceratops has an ability, which is to roll over onto its opponents and squish them, which is something that we can see right here, which is very nice to see. And obviously there is a dead version of whatever was attacking the Diabloceratops because it just got squished and probably every bone broken. We can see another Diabloceratops grabbing what looks like an Utahraptor in a sense, using its mouth, probably able to crush bone, rather than using its horns. But that looks like it's in the middle of a charge as well, which is pretty cool. Then of course, two Diabloceratopses fighting each other, duking it out, locking horns. Very nice. Maybe this is something that they'll have to do in order to compete for a mate. That'll be pretty cool, but maybe there's a dueling system that could be planned as well, which is nice if it does ever come. Then we see a Diabloceratops pretty much killing a Carnotaurus that dared to attack it. You can see a sense of the scale here as well, looking at how small Diabloceratops is compared to Carnotaurus, which technically shouldn't be too big, but obviously Diabloceratops is a small ceratopsian in that sense. And then once again, an absolutely dead Utahraptor being squished. And you can also see some baby Diabloceratopses doodled as well, which looks very nice. But yeah, that is another thing to note. Those horns will be killing whatever hits it. But finally, we get to see the nesting ground, which looks like the traditional nest that I talked about in my last video that was showcased. Nevertheless, Very nice. It looks like they're probably best to be nesting in groups so they can all protect the herd and the nest as well. But that is everything with Diabloceratops' concept art. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. I'd love to know what you think. But other than that, yeah, that is the whole concept art for Diabloceratops. We can also talk about structures for the owl, more specifically in the Dockyard, because quite a few brand new structures were showcased in the main dev blog for the Isle Evrima, but the main focus was on the Dockyard. Visual text says that there are 2 smaller and 1 normal hangar in size that is ready to be shipped over to the game, which is really cool. Firstly, I believe this is the big hangar, the one that I actually talked about in a previous video, which is on the screen now. Honestly, I love it a lot. I love the detail on this. You can see each crack, the weathering, the scratches and grooves on it, the damage to the paint and erosion to the building. Visual Tech has done an absolutely fantastic job with this one. The back end showcased some doors which are slightly open. Smaller dinosaurs or babies will be able to get through here. However, I do think this will be a hitbox nightmare if you are actually trying to get through it, because the doors are actually only slightly open and I don't think you'll be able to push them open. A further focus on the main doors of the structure here. You can showcase the reinforcement, the metallic reinforcement here, and the detail in it, each little tab and everything, each door itself. It's going to be one of those things that I think will be opening and closing like those garden doors, where it slides open and the sheets come out one by one, which is pretty cool. That being said, I don't think this will be animated when it's in, and I definitely don't think it'll be animated anytime soon, maybe when humans are here, or maybe quite a while after that. We also get to see an overhead view of both hangars. You can see the normal size hangar, the smaller hangar, and you can see them next to each other, and you can see how big the big hangar is and how small the small one is, so you get a nice scale of thought here for these. Additionally, we get to see the kit that was constructed for the walkways in the storage buildings, showing the amount of work and precision that's going into making these buildings themselves, which is amazing. Additionally, a monorail is being constructed by Visual Tech as well, which is pretty cool, something that I didn't even know was in the game, and I hope it is operational when it does come in. Finally, there's some extra work on the Dockyards watchtower, which has seen some textures, see-through textures, and some other stuff as well, which looks pretty cool. And regarding this video, that is everything in it so far. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now we've gone over the whole dev blog that was released at the start of this month. If you want to check out my last video about it, feel free to do so. We talk mainly about the update 5 stuff. It's on the screen now. Definitely go and check it out. But other than that, guys, I do hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Peace.